Financial Action Task Force says Uganda has made key reforms in 7 areas, including adopting a national anti-money laundering law, countering the financing of terrorism, enhancing the use of mutual legal assistance, and maintaining statistics and developing and implementing risk-based supervision of the financial and designated non-financial businesses and professional sectors. But African major economies like Nigeria and South Africa were also added to the grey list earlier this year, February to be precise. Is Nigeria on its way off the list? Joining me to unpack this is Segun Adams. He is a macro analyst, Afrinvest Research and Consulting. I hope I didn't murder that. Thank you very much for joining us. Nigeria has been placed on the Financial Action Task Force grey list. Has it impacted businesses locally and internationally?
Yeah, thank you for having me and good evening. Good day to your viewers across the world. Earlier on, I was explaining how that the addition of Nigeria to the list per se has not had very meaningful impact. Although we can argue that has added a layer of complication to the difficulty in doing business and international perception. Reason being that there are other factors that when you look at, for instance, capital importation into Nigeria, it declined to around $5.3 billion in 2022, and this year we received roughly 2.2, meaning that we're running short of the mark for 2022, and these are historical numbers. But what is important to note is that when you look at the underlying factors, for instance, you have concerns around terrorist financing, money laundering, illicit financing. These are things that can affect businesses, especially those that face the international markets, in terms of processing payments, in terms of cost of due diligence, and some other sort of concerns. So overall, we think that this can be an issue down the line. But for now, it's not really, I think Nigeria being added to the grey list itself is not so much of an issue on business operation. There are other factors at play.
The investment drive of the government, the current government, could this grey listing become a stumbling block or impediment?
Yes, of course. Like I mentioned, so being added to the list has the grey list in and of itself. It's not the worst there can be. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but it's somewhat like a wake-up call to the country. It acknowledges that those countries are cooperative, but they have some lapses they have to fix. And Nigeria has been in the worst position in 2001, where we're on the list of non-cooperative countries or territories, and we managed to scale through. The current administration is doing a lot in that regard, but there has to be results. We are positive about this result. In the other scenario where hope against hope, we are not able to move the needle very quickly, then of course it might affect things like credit rating or credit access or even cost of capital. So those are the risks we are running.
What steps has or should be taking, should the government take to be removed?
So interestingly, although we didn't pass the October review, which held just some weeks back, the Financial Action Task Force noted that we have achieved a lot of progress in terms of updating our risk assessment, completing some review, in terms of high political commitments we've made. In fact, the CBN in June also published the CBN customer due diligence regulation, which updates or improves upon the 3-tier KYC we already have in the banking system and optimizes data protection laws to increase the capability of institutions to really do due diligence. So there are a lot of measures that have been taken. For instance, also, we are launching our banking sector report tomorrow, and the theme is getting Nigeria to work again. And in that report, we also argued for the need to strengthen institutions, and we are seeing a lot of that going on at the moment. So by and large, we have increased cooperation as the FATF task force has acknowledged. We have updated, completed some outstanding risk assessment, and CBN also has been putting out policies and guidelines to improve upon existing frameworks.
Segun, thank you very much for your contribution. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.